We're starting the noon today with a live look outside. It is already heating up and it's only going to get hotter from here, especially as we head into next week. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Anusha Roy. Want to head over to Weather Impact meteorologist Keely Chalmers for a check on your forecast. And those 90s are back, and not just for a couple of days. They're sticking around for a while.
Yeah, we're looking at a stretch of temperatures in the 90s. A little bit of haze still out there, but all that will clear out over the next couple of days. But you can clearly see it's still out over the metro area. We still have an air quality alert once again in effect today for those high levels of ozone, as well as that wildfire smoke, and that includes the urban corridor, the Front Range, and all of eastern Colorado. Current temperatures, we are warming up again. We are going to be close to record-breaking temperatures today. 93 right now, already out at DIA. We're at 95 in Sterling, 95 in Ray as well. 70s, low 80s up there in the high country. So your weather forecast for today, we're looking hazy again, but clearing out as we head into the overnight hours. Filtered sunshine is going to help warm us up to about 97 degrees. As for any type of precipitation out there, we are quiet right now, but we do have a system off to our west, and that is going to start to bring us some showers and thunderstorm activity over the mountains today, and likely down over the plains as we head through the day tomorrow. So your weather headlines for today, again, the air quality, not the best right now, but it will be improving as we head into the afternoon and overnight evening hours. Another big story weather-wise is the heat. We're talking temperatures in the 90s for a stretch. And again, storms returning to the forecast tomorrow, as well as Saturday into Sunday. So we'll talk more about those storms, kind of break down the timeline of when those will arrive, coming up in your full forecast in just a bit.
All right, thanks so much for that, Keely. Today, Rocky Mountain National Park has an ozone advisory in place. The park says ozone pollution has reached or is expected to reach unhealthy levels today for kids, people who are older, and people with sensitive lungs. They recommend not exercising outside. The advisory is in effect until midnight. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu delivered a defiant speech to Congress, defending the ongoing war against Hamas. Netanyahu drew protests inside and outside the Capitol and is also set to meet with President Biden and Vice President Harris and families of American hostages today. NBC's Raf Sanchez has the details.
President Biden has two main priorities when it comes to the Middle East for his remaining time in office. One, getting a deal to end the war in Gaza and bring the hostages home. And two, to lay the foundation for some kind of future governance in Gaza and reconstruction. And it was really striking. Prime Minister Netanyahu, in his address to a joint session of Congress, did not really give any detail on either front. He said Israel will maintain security control in Gaza for the foreseeable future, and he said at some point a Palestinian civilian administration will take part of civilian affairs. He gave no detail about who he saw making up that administration, and he really had very little to say about the prospect of a deal to bring the hostages home nearly 300 days into their captivity at the hands of Hamas. A senior American official did say that progress is being made. They hope that there will be movement next week when Israeli negotiators return to Qatar for those talks. Meanwhile, Israeli forces continue to operate in the southern city of Han Yunis. More than 150,000 Palestinians have been displaced by Israel's military offensive there. Israel says it is pursuing Hamas fighters who have regrouped in the city. And overnight, Israel recovering the bodies of one civilian hostage and 4 Israeli soldiers, all of whom are believed to have been killed on October 7th, their bodies taken into Gaza by Hamas. Raf Sanchez, NBC News, Tel Aviv.
New at noon, Kroger and Albertsons are pausing plans to merge until the court rules on the state's lawsuit to permanently block the merger. Attorney General Phil Weiser challenged that merger. He says halting the deal will really help out farmers and suppliers who will not have to worry about this happening during their harvest season. The trial for that lawsuit starts on September 30th. Weiser argues the merger would only lead to grocery prices going up, while Kroger and Albertsons says the merger is necessary to compete with retailers like Walmart and Amazon. This morning, a former school police officer pleaded not guilty to 29 charges in connection with the mass shooting at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas. Adrian Gonzalez was one of the first officers to arrive on the scene. He was one of nearly 400 officers who responded and then waited more than an hour to confront the shooter inside that school. 19 children and 2 kids were killed inside a 4th grade classroom. Gonzalez was indicted on 29 charges of child endangerment and abandonment, but his attorney says that this is not his fault.
There was an obviously horrible monster responsible for the deaths of these children. And it's not Adrian Gonzalez, and he's not that person.
If convicted, Gonzalez faces up to 2 years behind bars. Denver police are investigating a burglary that has forced a high-end jewelry store in Cherry Creek to stay closed all week. The burglary happened early Monday morning at the Hyde Park jewelry store in the Cherry Creek Mall while the mall was closed. Police say a number of items were taken, but they haven't said what or how much the stolen jewels are worth. The store is on the 2nd level of the mall between Neiman Marcus and Nordstrom. Usually 1 or 2 security guards are keeping watch. The store has been closed since Monday. And another business had to close its doors temporarily. This time, a steakhouse in Denver was broken into 3 times in the last 2 years. The owners think it is the same person. Denver police responded to Columbine Steakhouse last Saturday morning. Security cameras caught the guy using a truck to break into the restaurant's back door. The truck damaged the door, tore down the back wall, and damaged some of the gas lines and plumbing. The owners are estimating that thousands of dollars worth of damage was left. Instead of getting away with money, though, the person is getting away with steak.
They didn't even go in the restaurant to go to the ATM. They didn't go to the registers. Of course, there's no money in there anyway. They didn't take any liquor. They didn't take any beer. I mean, they were free to do anything in here, but they didn't. They just took the steaks out of here.
Denver police confirmed the investigation. They also acknowledged the 2 previous burglaries, but haven't said yet if they are connected. If you happen to know anything, you are asked to call police. At this time tomorrow, you're going to be watching the Olympic opening ceremony on the Seine River. There are entire parts of central Paris that are closed off to cars. Today, workers are setting up audio and video equipment along the banks. Instead of the traditional march into a stadium, more than 10,000 athletes will be on a parade on more than 90 boats on the Seine River for nearly 4 miles. And today, the U.S. women's soccer team takes the field for the very first time at the Olympics. There are 3 Coloradans on that team. The captain, Lindsay Oran, is from Golden, Sophia Smith from Windsor, and Mallory Swanson from Littleton. At the 2024 Summer Olympics, Paris is making sure that the urban sports are being played in natural settings away from stadiums. Matt Renew is in Paris for the games, and today he is showing us one iconic location that's going to be the site for 4 sports.
In the heart of Paris,
Okay, bonjour.
at the spot that was once the royal square for Louis XV,
We are actually close to the Tuileries Gardens and close to the Louvre where the kings were living.
tour guide Annie Chervière says is one of the busiest tourist stops in Paris.
It's like a crossroads here.
Palace de la Concorde, which might have a peaceful meaning,
Concorde means peace.
has had anything but a peaceful history. With this square the site of hundreds of executions by guillotine.
Because this is where the guillotine was during the French Revolution. This is where over 1,000 executions took place. Among them, the execution of Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette during the French Revolution.
Today, the king's statue has been replaced with an Egyptian obelisk.
Coming from the Temple of Luxor, Egypt.
And during the 2024 Olympics, this square is the site for 4 sporting events.
At the Olympics, it will be a place where urban sports will be performed, such as breakdance, hip-hop, BMX.
And is no stranger to sport because La Concorde is right next to Champs-Élysées, where riders race through Paris during the Tour de France.
This would be the rival of the Tour de France, the famous bicycle race.
And Annie says will continue its sports legacy as the center for Olympic sports during the 2024 Summer Games.
This is a very central location here.
This is also where the U.S. Embassy is located in Paris. Winners at the 2024 Summer Olympic Games in Paris will bring home a piece of history. Each medal features a piece of the Eiffel Tower's original iron structure. After the renovation work during the 20th century, certain metallic elements were removed from the tower and then carefully preserved. They have now been repurposed to create the medal centerpiece, a reference to France's geometric shape. There's an estimated 5,100 medals.